What is NPS? Net Promoter Score is actually a calculation that is used to find if you have a product market fit, or your existing customers are sticking around, or they like the product or they don't like the product. This is a really great indicator if you need to work on the product or develop the product even further. It shows you how likely people are going to recommend your product or service to other people. That actually works in your favor. It's a word of mouth way of promoting your business in a sense, right? So there's 1 to 10, numbers 1 to 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be detractors. So when you give the survey to your, let's say, existing database of customers, let's say 100 people, and you give it to them, they have the ability to pick 1 to 10, right? So you give them the number, how likely you're going to recommend our product or service, right? If they pick from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6, they're not likely to recommend your product and service, and they're more likely to spread bad word of mouth, which is awful. We don't want that. So if you, let's say you go and you promote your service with like some sort of advertisement, right, on Facebook ads, Google ads, and they ask a couple of friends, and if they happen to ask one of those people from 1 to 6, you're not going to make a sale, which is terrible. Actually, you're putting money behind that Facebook ads or an advertising channel or platform, and it is working against you. We don't like it. 7 and 8 on different sources. Some people call those passive, so they don't do anything. Some people actually make it 1 to 7, and it's 8 to 10 promoters, but we're going to call it as passive. 7 to 8 are going to be passive. If they pick 9 to 10, they're going to be promoters. So promoters are actually the people who are free affiliates, right? So you don't have to do any marketing for them to tell about your product or services to their friends, family. So it helps you to spread the word. Like great products, like let's say Uber when they first came out, right? Facebook when it first came out, they have had a huge promoter score. But if you do it right now, Facebook promoter score, NPS will probably be like 3 or 2 with the bad publicity they had. But when it first came around, if with the Shopify, Spotify, like when it first came out, like when they first skyrocketed, that actually helped them a lot. If they were to get that point of publicity, they would have to do 10x or 100x of the marketing they did, right? But their net promoter score, NPS, helped them to get to where they are right now. So that's why it's really important. So these people, bad word of mouth, not going to help you, but we want to have really high NPS. But how we can actually calculate that NPS? So NPS is the percentage of promoters. So we're going to take the percentage of promoters minus detractors. Let's do an example. Let's say we have 100 people of customers that in our database, right? So we're going to send them a survey, and we're going to ask them how likely or you're going to recommend our product or service. We give them 1 to 10. They pick a number on the survey, right? And we give, let's say, a free something once they complete the survey. So we want to actually get them to complete our survey. If you give out like a random survey out of 100 people, maybe like 30% will complete the survey. So we have to give them an incentive for them to actually finish the survey, so we have a great data, right? Let's say 60 people out of 100 1 to 6, right? So that's actually pretty bad. So this is going to be detractors, which is going to be 60%. 20%, 20 people in the passive and 20 people in the promoters. So we're gonna have 20% to 60%. So we are in minus 40%, which is terrible. That shows that there's big flaws in our product, and we have to fix it as soon as possible. Otherwise, like if this NPS is below 50, people, like most advertisers or most startup founders, they suggest don't push marketing, like don't push serious budget behind any type of product which has below 50% NPS. So let's give another example. Let's say we go to our market existing database, and we have NPS, so detractors of, let's say 20 people are detractors. We got 20 people scored 1 to 6, right? So we have 20 detractors. We got promoters of, let's say, 50 people, and the rest of passive, right? The rest of passive, 30 people are passive. And in this case, we have 30%, which is still not good. Still not good. Still not too bad, but still not good. So we want to have this above 50%. How we can do this? How we can do this? So we have to get at least 60 people here and as little detractors as possible. So to give an example, every industry has certain percentage of NPS, right? So we want to aim above the industry standards. So actually, you don't have to, when it comes to startup world, you don't have to create something extremely unique, right? You just have to do an existing thing a little bit better than your competitors. Look at your industry average. Let's say, for instance, Facebook, it was like 50%, PayPal, 65% of NPS. 65% NPS is amazing, guys. 65% of NPS is huge. You create like a payment processor startup or a business, right? And you get 80% NPS, which is actually your promoters minus detractors is 80%. I guarantee you're gonna take over the market with this NPS. Of course, if you have the budget, marketing budget and everything, right? So if you push marketing budget behind an NPS of 80%, you will skyrocket. With, you know, big wholesalers like Target, Kmart, and so on and so forth, they're like 70% range. So people trust them a little bit more than internet companies. Try to aim above industry standards, then you're good to go. If you don't have 50% NPS, never push marketing behind this. Never put marketing money behind this because it's gonna work against you, right? So look at the industry standards. Of course, if your industry standards is like 10%, if you have 40 or 30, you're good to go. You're above your industry standards. But it's a good overall understanding of how you can push budget behind an average NPS. And NPS actually shows how good your product is in a way for existing customers, right? All right, that was it, guys. Please subscribe if you enjoy this and take care.